we're live. Don't drop the frame. Don't drop the frame. Maintain 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 the frame.
Coming in through and coming again. 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 Coming in through and coming again.
It's Saturday morning and the world is fucked. It's Saturday afternoon and the world is fucked. But I got hope. I got hope in my heart. I got hope in my heart that things are gonna get much better. Things are gonna get much better. People are listening. People are in the fucking streets talking about the rights and shit. It's a good thing. The voice is loud. Things are changing right in front of our eyes. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm like coming through. I'm like coming through. I'm like
Coming in through and I'm coming again, and I'm coming in through and I'm coming again. 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 My throat is fucked. My throat is fucked. My throat is fucked. My throat is fucked.
My throat is fucked. My throat is fucked. My throat is fucked. There's some sort of weird mildew leak in my home. There's some sort of weird mildew leak going on. And there's a cat. There she is. Everyone, this is Princess Muffin. I'll let her out. I don't want her to get the mildew leak. Okay, we're doing a thing. We're live right now. And this is Neil P. This is SUPcast. We do this live every Saturday. I took a week off of streaming. There's, in solidarity with the movement, there's a lot of shit going on. And, yeah, I'm trying to use my platform for good. And we have Deekah today. And Deekah is a friend of a lot of people, including myself. And right now I want to give a quick shout out right here. We got to sponsor the Wendigo Tea Company. Everyone. The Wendigo Tea Company is a company, and it was started by Skywhite of Foxy Shazam, and right now I have some Siren steeping. Siren right here is Throat Health Tea. And if you look in the description, and not in Facebook, you got to go to YouTube. There's a description where you get 15% off your entire order of Throat Health Herbal Tea. And currently I'm steeping this shit, and where am I supposed to put this is the question. Where am I supposed to put this is the question. But how's everyone doing? I see Keith Baby. I see Aaron Walker. And I see Kurt. Oh, what's up, Kurt? What's up, Biff Titzel? And we're going to be having a chat. This is a podcast, and we're going to be having a chat. I don't want to pour burning water all over me. But anyway, everyone should go over to YouTube right now because I'm trying to get all of the traffic to go to the YouTube because I'm trying to get the channel. I'm trying to become a partner, a YouTube partner. So the more you watch on the YouTube, the more better. But this right here, I'm drinking the Siren for throat health. And there's some sort of weird mildew leak in the apartment. And it's not very well ventilated. So I'm drinking this tea because my throat hurts like a motherfucker. But right here, Wendigo Tea. I am the Siren. Here for the singers, the shouters, and the screamers. Once you have heard this beautiful winged maiden sing her haunting song, you will find, like all of those who have come before, that I am truly irresistible. I am herbal tea expertly crafted to soothe your ravaged throat and heal your respiratory health. I am naturally caffeine-free and 100% organic. The calming experience of sweet medicinal herbs will lure you in, but beware. I won't fail to shock your senses with the fierce heat of spicy ginger. And it says, just try to resist me. You can't resist the motherfucking siren. So everyone go to wendigoteaco.com and order yourself some tea. Promo code Neil, and you get 15% off your whole order, and you'd be supporting Sky. Sky is a friend of the show, a friend of the band, a friend of all of us. So let's go. We got Deekah waiting in the waiting room. It's not really a waiting room because this is all virtual. It's a Zoom call, and let's bring her in here. So everyone, I hope you're doing well on Saturday. Let's have a convo with our friend Deekah. I'm gonna go over here, and we're gonna hit the button. And we're going to be in business. Admit. Let me make sure that my Zoom preferences. Hey.
What up, though?
Talk.
I'm talking. Can you hear me? Can you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah.
Can you hear words?
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah. Here, keep talking.
Okay. All right. Levels. We getting levels.
Yeah, levels.
Levels.
Yeah, sing a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Singing songs and words.
Okay, let's go to the gallery view.
I don't know. You want me to just keep singing until you say something?
I don't know what the hell is going on right now.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, shit, neither do I.
I'm playing. I start off and I play shit like this. Can you hear this? Can you hear the beat?
Yep.
Can you hear like when I'm like ah?
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear this? It's a little low.
Yes.
Yeah, we're having a good time. So
I like
when COVID broke, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to do the streaming shit. I had a couple friends that were doing the streaming thing, and it took me like 3 weeks to like get it the way I wanted. And it's still not the way I wanted. I was watching this video, and this dude is like, oh, you need this, and you need this, and you need this, and I'm like looking at, because he's an Amazon affiliate, I'm looking at the prices or whatever of what he's. And all this shit's like $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I already got myself back into debt doing this stupid podcast because I'm like, I need these microphones. And
yeah, right.
Yeah, so now I have nice microphones, but I don't know how the fuck, like, all the gigs dried up. I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this shit. So.
Oh man, I know, right?
But it is what it is. There's more pressing matters.
There are, for sure.
And yeah, so we're live. We're live on the internet, and this is episode 38 of my pod thing.
Nice.
And yeah, it's rolling along.
Here we are.
It's rolling along. When COVID happened, I was so bummed out. I was like, I didn't want to be just another dill hole on the internet, being like, hey, pay attention to me. But I had to figure out how am I gonna survive, and so. I have these friends that they stream on Twitch and shit, and they're able to get by. And actually, my friends in Psychostick have been raising a shitload of money because they're like a big band.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this thing where they give half of their donations, because the way Twitch works is you get donations, like people just throw donations at you. And
right on.
They've been giving half of their donations to a different charity every week. And dude, for the ACLU this week, they raised like fucking $10,000 in 2 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so it's crazy because we used to tour with them all the time back in the day, but they don't even have to fucking leave their practice space to make like a big impact, to not only like take care of their bottom line and make sure they can eat, but they're like fucking helping out the cause,
man.
And that's dope.
That's the dream. Like, I feel like that's the dream. Let me be able to like feed myself and my family and pay my bills and like pay my band, and let me be able to give back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me be able to feel like I'm doing something with my money other than just buying dish racks on Amazon.
You show me your dish rack though.
Dude, my dish rack's fucking cold. First of all, I will just say that I'm very thankful that like I like stayed on the state of Michigan and got my fucking unemployment. This is the internet. I can cuss. Okay.
Yeah, say whatever the fuck you want.
Unemployment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am during the day when I'm not fucking teaching guitar or taking gigs, you know, I've got a 12-year-old I got to feed. Well, he'll be 12 next Sunday. I've got a fucking 12-year-old and I'm not a small woman. He ain't a small boy and we like food so much. And so he's got to eat. Like, I got to like keep a roof over his head. I don't know if y'all know this, but kids like to eat a bunch of times a day and you're like supposed to feed them. If you don't take care of kids, there's a whole fucking group of motherfuckers that will come after you. It's insane. And plus you kind of like, you get used to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you end up loving them. Like from the moment you lay eyes on them, it's insane.
That's what
so
I
like
hear.
Feed them, you know? So that's where I am right now. And so like during the day, I give my time to someone to be a receptionist at a co-op, but it's like a small business co-op. It's cool as fuck. I didn't have to like be right in it. Like I didn't come in like close contact with people because of the way that my desk situation is set up. But like I was still, you know, it's like not high volume, but there's people coming in and out, you know what I'm saying, all day. So when COVID happened, the shutdown happened, I was like, listen, like, you know, I was kind of getting by a little bit like on basically on the little bit that I had saved, which was not much, just because tax time had just happened. So once that dried up, like I was like, okay, you know, there's a little bit of you know, like when lockdown first happened, or lockdown or quarantine, whatever you want to call it, when it first happened, like there's, for those of us that are social creatures, you know, there was a little bit of like depression there. I think I went the first 2 weeks and didn't really get out of my bed, you know, like I did to like take care of my kid, but other than that, like not really, you know. So like, I feel like when after a while, I'm saying all that to say, once the fucking unemployment shit happened and like I finally, you know, I got a little, like I stopped feeling like I was playing catch up constantly and like constantly in like survival mode. I'm like, this is a little bit of a chance for me to buy a comfortable bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been sleeping on a bed that like has been making my days even worse. Like if you're not getting rest at night, then shit is like, it's a whole fucking lot worse to have to go through the day and like not only care for yourself, but another motherfucker who was like a whole innocent ass human, you know? So like I had to kind of prioritize and like, I don't have a dishwasher, man. Like this is an old little Detroit bungalow. I don't have a dishwasher. My kitchen is really cute, but there's no fucking dishwasher. And I am like, you're looking at her. And so, you know, Amazon had those really nice ass, like fucking 2-tiered over the sink dish racks. And I'm like,
I saw it.
Genius. Oh, holy shit. And I feel like I had been seeing them on those, you know, those little clips on Facebook that come across Facebook, and it'll be like 20 different life hacks or 20 products you need to own. And it'll be like an adorable little like Korean chick or something like that, and then like her apartment, and then she's showing all the different ways this stuff works, and it's like a little collapsible bathtub and blah 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 and a bunch of shit that's like not actually practical for my life, but here's this fucking amazing ass dish rack.
Hey, they get you, and they're
like
listening too.
For months.
They're listening through the walls. Like you'll be talking about some shit and like to a friend, not even like searching for it on the internet, and the internet's like, pop, we heard you.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we heard you. No, we know you want this, Deekah. Here. Yeah. This is the one you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Here's the same one. Oh, look, it's on sale. Ooh, free shipping. Check this out. You got an extra couple bucks. There you go. You paid all your bills this month. Come on, you got a little bit in savings. Go for it. Get the dish rack, Deekah.
We got this. Our dish rack doesn't drain into the sink, and we have this thing that's like a sponge underneath it, and it just stinks like shit. And then,
dude,
it's bad. And then we had Yesterday we had the dude come out and fix our sink because it was leaking underneath. And right now I'm trying to air out all this mildew smell from underneath the kitchen sink. I had to like empty because it was leaking, and so it just got all mildew. Yeah. And then we have like a basement apartment in Long Beach.
Right on.
And it's not very well ventilated, so we've been like breathing this mildew shit. And we have sore throats and we're all stuffy and.
Oh man!
It's cool. It's cool to be
out here. I know
what
you mean, though.
It's cool to be out here. I'm very grateful. I started therapy again, and I'm trying to really focus on what I'm grateful for, which is there's a whole lot, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna bitch too much, but I'm drinking this tea because I've been breathing the mildew.
I can relate, man. I was in a house that had a lot of potential, but it also had a lot of problems right before I got into this house here. And everybody's sinuses, we were all fucked up. Like it was like a river running through my basement, basically. Like, so that mildew smell turned into like the bane of my existence. So when like, you're not bitching, man. I'm just relating. I'm not throwing you not bitching. I'm not throwing you a pity party, but I totally fucking relate.
But it's even worse out in Michigan because it's humid. There's like a desert climate out here. It's just it's a dry heat. But you know, when you have moisture leaking all over everything,
it doesn't matter. And you're in a basement too, so you know.
Which is weird because California doesn't really have basements, but we live in this neighborhood in Long Beach, which is like this old historic neighborhood, and all the houses are huge, and all the property companies, they came and just bought it all up, and they pretty much sectioned off every house into like 6 different units. Like we live in a big ass house, but we're like one of 6 units, and we all share a driveway. It's pretty chill, but like we live downstairs. There definitely is like a bunch of little kids running around and screaming and but it's alive, you know, and
right on.
And
it's a neighborhood.
It's cool. We can ride our bikes to the beach. You know, we haven't really gone out very much.
Yes.
So. We've been afraid of the whole COVID thing, which I'm getting to the point where it's weird. It's just like ever since the shit went down, it seems like COVID's just out of the news, but did it leave is the question?
No. I don't think
so either.
You know, but social distancing is still a thing, you know? Like, I haven't gone anywhere without a mask since March.
Yep.
You know, my kid doesn't go outside to play with his friends without his mask. We got the ones with the respirators. They got me freaking Facebook or one of those ads.
Oh, you got the fancy ones.
Ass mask though, like I look like fucking Katana. It's in my car because I'm usually like.
Is that a Mortal Kombat reference?
I do. I fucking look like Katana. Like it comes down here and I'm like, it fucking comes here, and so like I'm going to the fucking fruit market looking like I'm ready for action, but I feel badass. Whatever. I'm just getting the grapes though.
Yeah.
I'm the grapes. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been going to Trader Joe's in Long Beach. There's this like rent-a-cop dude. But he's like this good looking buff dude, and he dresses like a cop, but he's not a cop. He doesn't have a gun. No. But so we'll go to the Trader Joe's and we'll be waiting in line to go in the grocery store, and he'll be like doing pull-ups like where the cart return is and shit. We call him Sergeant Sexy. I wrote a song about him.
Ooh.
but it's fun. It's just funny because we don't like. It's just such a weird scene. Like you're going to Trader Joe's and here's this cop, this like good-looking, tall, buff, like white dude, cop-looking guy, but he's not policing shit. He's not a cop.
Doing pull-ups.
He's walking around the parking lot just looking buff and sexy and working out on the clock. It's a weird scene, man.
Dude, maybe he's like maybe you don't know. Maybe he's getting ready to like be the next generation of like American gladiators, and this is just what he does during the day.
It's like,
it's an interesting place, man.
You gotta stay pumped even on the clock. It's weird.
You gotta be ready, man. You gotta stay ready so you don't gotta get ready.
Well, I don't want to ask anyone that works there like who the guy is because I just want to keep the mystery alive, you know? Because there's something about it. Like we don't know anything about this guy, so we just speculate from afar. We just straight up when my girlfriend and I go to Trader Joe's, we just like hope he's there so we can spy on him a little bit.
Like, please let him be there.
Like,
You're
please
trying to
let him be
figure out
doing
the
push-ups in the.
schedule.
Please let him be doing push-ups in the parking lot, because it's a thing.
I love people sometimes. Like, I love people. People get on my fucking nerves. People annoy the shit out of me. They do the stupidest shit I don't understand, but I fucking love people sometimes. And they do, like, I just, like, when I go, my partner Q and I were talking about, we were watching some YouTube show, and he was in Cuba. It was like I think best ever food show, and he's in Cuba, and there is this place that is like, it's an old oil factory, right, or old oil refinery, and they've converted it into a multi-purpose space, right? So it's like art gallery, venue, restaurants, like multiple restaurants, like a food court situation. And we were like, oh, this is like perfect date night, blah, 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 blah. I said all that to say something, and I'm high as fuck, and I forgot what I was reading. Straight the fuck up.
Something about like Cuban YouTuber and all
Cuban
like,
YouTuber,
like art
fucking,
complex.
What were we talking about before that?
Talking about working out in the parking lot. How you like people even though they annoy the shit out of you.
So we were talking about, we're talking about this place, and I was like, yo, that would be such a good place to people watch. Like, oh, that would be like a good date night, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then there were all these like little benches and shit, right? And so that's what I was like, I've never fucking been to Cuba. Like, don't actually have plans to go do that anytime soon. But like, here's me already ready to find somewhere to go watch people. Like, I'm like, I love it. Like, so my imagination is vivid as fuck. Yeah. And now I want to see him. Like, I just need to see him doing I just want to see him living his everyday life.
Oh, you want to see Sergeant Sexy?
I just want to see him, you know? Like, oh, shit, you got pictures.
Oh, no, I got video, I think. I'll have to send it to you.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I got him doing, I made an Instagram story, and it's him doing pull-ups in the parking lot, and then I got the LMFAO song, Sexy and I Know It, so going on.
Does he take himself very seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But that's what makes
you have to.
Because he owns it, you know? He's just like, because he's got the aviators on, and he's rolling up his sleeves, and, you know, he's a good-looking built dude. Like, he is a good-looking dude. But on top of that, he's just like, he's looking in the mirror. He's like flexing in the car fucking windows so he can see his reflection. He's keeping his pump on. Yeah, dude. Sergeant Sexy's real.
He's real. Oh my God.
He's a real dude.
But
yeah. So tickled right now. Fuck, man.
So I don't even know, like, there's so much to talk about. We were talking over Messenger about how you don't like wearing sleeves. Let's go into that.
I'm not wearing sleeves right now. I got my fucking air conditioner going. I'm not fucking wearing sleeves right now. Fuck sleeves, especially on stage. Like, the minute it's over like 70 degrees, I'm like, fuck sleeves. I'm not going outside in sleeves. I can't. I'm hot. I'm fat. I'm sweaty. Look at my pit stains anyway, and you're gonna be like, oh, that fat bitch is sweating. Yeah, bitch, I'm fat. You said that. Like, it's hot. And if you're just a little bit warm, imagine how hot I am. And I don't mean that like I'm hot, like I'm fucking am, but I'm
like
also
temperature.
Hot. Like temperature wise.
Elevated
like,
temperature.
This fucking hair is hot. Like, this shit is hot. It's hot. And then we fucking jump around and holler into a microphone, and like I play this loud ass guitar. These motherfuckers behind me are jumping around and shit. These motherfuckers in front of me are jumping around. It's a small room. Ain't no air conditioning in this bar. It's hot. I'm sweaty. I'm not listen to me when I tell you. Okay. Neil, I've been in fucking mosh pits since I was 14 years old. Okay. I never, not one time, put on heels Like the closest to heels I ever put on, I was never that bitch. Never. Because I understood the environment I was going into. Assess the situation. Take some context clues, bitches. Like I used to get so upset with home. I had a couple friends who would like come out and they'd be like, I don't have my fucking shoes on. I'm like, bitch, I'm gonna have to be the one protecting you because then you're gonna want to be fucking checking out dudes and shit. And I want to stand at the edge of the pit. But you're gonna be in this fucking push-up bra and this fucking mini skirt, just to get knocked the fuck out, or fucking felt up, and I'm gonna have to punch somebody because you're tiny. I've never worn heels. I'm going to like fucking thrash around, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm on stage in front of motherfuckers. I gotta get the party started. I'm the last bitch who needs to be wearing like sleeves. I'm not wearing sleeves. I'm not wearing sleeves. If you see me in sleeves, I'm probably not doing a whole lot. And it's not because I want to show off my tattoos. It's because I'm fat and I sweat.
Yeah, it's really a heat thing. And, you know, I've been a big dude my whole life. I was made fun of my whole life. I was a chubby kid in high school. And then I played sports in high school, and it was just a thing. You just didn't wear sleeves. Like, I started working out. You just didn't wear sleeves. And it was a temperature thing. It's literally a temperature thing. And it's not because I'm trying to show off. You know, no. I don't have the best physique. I'm a big dude, but this isn't like for people to look at. This is because my pits need to breathe.
Man.
It's just I've been doing this since fucking high school, and high school is 20 plus years in the rear view at this point. So I'm just like, it's funny. People think if you're not wearing sleeves that there's some sort of motive behind it other than just I'm fucking hot and large and I'm just trying to air that shit out, man.
Just trying to air that shit out, man. Yeah. That's all. I'm warm.
Yeah.
Fucking warm. And I've sabotaged myself a few times and like tried it. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I'll wear, I got smart eventually and started like bringing a t-shirt, but I'm like, I know once I get on stage, I'm going to have this tank top on or whatever the fuck, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, every fucking time. And then I'll see people on stage. I just don't understand. I'm uncomfortable for you. Like, that's so much to wear. And like, I know there's some folks who can like do it. You know what I'm saying? There's some folks who like, Angelo Moore is a fucking prime example. 3-piece suit, fucking killing it. But he also will take that shit off piece by piece.
That's the thing.
It's naked by the end of
by the end of the show, he's pretty much, you can see his ass crack, you know? Like,
that's it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm not mad at that. Like, I get it. Like, that's an ensemble. Yeah. That's part of this, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I've never been one for like, I'm just coming out there. I'm coming out in what I'm leaving in. Like, I'm gonna throw these shorts on or these capri pants and these fucking chucks because I can move in this shit.
Yeah, I need ankle support. I caught a lot of shit because I was wearing athletic shoes, but not like sneakers, not like Chucks. I was wearing actual like dad like Asics running shoes on stage, and I got that idea from Andrew WK because Andrew WK, he goes out there in a white t-shirt, white jeans, and like dad shoes, like Asics running shoes. But that dude's doing jump kicks and he's going so fucking hard. I'm like, all right, if that dude doesn't give a shit, I'm gonna put on the dad shoes. But then eventually, I caught so much shit for wearing dad shoes on stage by my more fashionable female friends that I switched to high top Vans, which still give me the ankle support, but they kind of, they're kind of a little less dad-y.
Okay, yeah, I feel you.
So that's what I've been doing these days. But
I've got some Chucks with some nice insoles that I like.
Oh yeah, gelling. Are you gelling?
I'm gelling. I am gelling. Yeah. Or like, I said I'm a mom. I don't drive a minivan, but I do have Crocs. I'm gonna some fucking nice ass fucking Croc sandals for like fucking like festivals and outdoor shit.
Are they comfortable?
And like they're like,
what are Crocs made out of? Are they comfortable?
They're fucking made out of rubber. It's almost like tire rubber because
can you wash them in a dishwasher and shit?
I probably could. I hose them down. Like
right.
I went to the fucking Renaissance Festival last year in those bitches, and right at the end it was real muddy. And like I had literally got to the car, like took my shoes off and rubbed my feet in the grass to get the mud off, threw them shoes in the back, and when I got home, I just hosed them bitches down, and they were just fine. So they're like, you gotta go. Well, I don't know if they're still. I don't know. I bought these 2 years ago. They also last really fucking long, and they've got a few styles that like make sense. Whatever, go on the fucking website, but don't like, you can't like, you know, it's not going to be at like Famous Footwear. Like, you know, like the cool styles, you're going to have to like buy directly from them.
You got to dig to find the cool Crocs.
You do, man. You got to dig deep. I'm going to go with you because it's bad. That website is tough. I was like, I'm not gonna find what I'm looking for because somebody put me up on it. I had a friend who had some really fucking cute ass sandals on, and I was like, "Bitch, where'd you get those?" And she's like, and I was like, "Okay." Like, if she said it real low, I could tell it was a secret. And so I went home late at night, and I'm on my phone in the dark, and I'm doing my research, and that's when I found them. I'm not gonna name names. But now I've told the rest of the internet. So
yeah, everyone knows you.
Everyone knows. I'm not gonna spill her beans though.
You're not gonna indict anyone in your Croc purchase.
No. But I love them. I bought 2 pair. Like I bought another pair. You know, I fucking walked all over New York in them bitches. You know, like touristy shit, man. I've done touristy shit in those shoes, and the 350 pounds that sit on my ankles were not like it writhing in pain by the end of the day.
Well,
and
good.
that's shit.
That's, I mean, essentially that's all that matters. And I used to run a lot, and I've always been like over 200 pounds. And it got to the point where I was running on pavement that I ruined my knees just from the impact so much. So essentially, like if you're a bigger human being, you have to get shoes to just absorb impact. And that's like
that's right.
And that's why insoles are key. I heard all the fucking time. I was just talking to someone in Sprouts the other day. They're like, "Why are you buying that turmeric?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's supposed to be good for inflammation."
It is.
And then they're like, "Does it work?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know. I hurt all day, every day, no matter what." Because, you know, when I was young, I played sports. I played football. I smashed my head into people. And then I always did like manual labor type work. I flipped a van in 2010. I used to load trucks.
Yeah.
I toured for 10 years, just like sleeping on people's floors and banging my head. My neck hurts so bad, and it's just anything you can do. Fuck fashion. Anything you can do to be more comfortable. If it's wearing a pair of Crocs, man, fucking if they're comfortable, wear that shit. And also, a quick New York story. I remember the first time I ever went to New York City to play a gig. I was walking around in sandals in Manhattan on the Lower East Side, and my friend Janet, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
"What's wrong with you?"
Then she pointed at my feet, and I'm just like, "What? I'm just wearing sandals." She's like, "Do you know what is on the ground here?" Like,
all of it.
Yeah, all the fucking disease, all the dirt, all the grossness, all the rat droppings, all the garbage. It's all on the ground. So yeah, that's the last time I wore sandals in New York City.
Yeah, man. They were closed, by the way. They were Crocs. The ones I wore in New York were Crocs, but they weren't like sandals.
Smart.
Yes, because I think when we were we stayed in Harlem. So that's up like upper Manhattan. So we stayed in Harlem, but there was a bodega and we downstairs from us. We literally walked down to the bodega and came back, and I was wearing flip-flops or something like that. And when I tell you I'm wearing a black t-shirt, and that's what the fucking bottom of my shoes look like not shoes, but my feet, like ankles down. And I was like, I walked downstairs. Yeah. Like I didn't go around the corner. You literally like you left out of the door from our walk up. You made a right. Like you went down 2 doors and there's the bodega. It's not like it was across the street. When I say we went downstairs, it's a dirty town, man.
It's dirty as shit. My girlfriend for a year, we did the long distance thing for a year, and she lived in Washington Heights, which is just north of Harlem.
Yeah.
And I would go visit her, but she worked at a jazz club near Times Square called Birdland. And yeah, real cool place. And she was constantly like, she would work until like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and she would have to take the subway alone back to Washington Heights at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every fucking day of the week she worked. So it was kind of gnarly, but she would tell me all these crazy subway stories. There was this lady on the subway. She was straight up like clipping her kids' toenails like on the subway and just like letting the toenails just like drop on. New York City. Wear shoes. Okay. Wear clothes, Crocs in New York.
Wear clothes. Wear your clothes, Crocs.
Yeah,
kids.
just keep your feet away from. And that's the other thing. I remember in 2015, I was practicing handstands because I got really into yoga, and I was doing handstands everywhere because I was like getting it, you know.
Yes, that's one of my goals.
It's hard on your wrists if you're not like a small person. It's hard on your wrists, so be careful. Yeah. But I remember I was in Brooklyn and I was just doing handstands all over the fucking place. But for some reason it didn't click in my brain that, hey, you wear shoes in this city. Don't put your fucking hands on the ground in this city either. But pre-COVID, I didn't give a shit about germs, man. I licked fucking sauce off my fingers, and I still do. My girlfriend's yelling at me last night. She's like, use the fucking napkin, germs. And I'm just like, what? You know?
What's wrong?
Yeah. It's hard to turn off the scum.
It is.
When you've been a scummy touring musician scum for your whole life, and then all of a sudden this shit happens. You have to be very mindful of bacteria and germs. But you're this scummy fucking person. It's hard to rewrite that shit. You know? But she's like, you got to take a shower. I'm just like, why?
Right now?
Because you stink.
Today?
But it's cool. We're working it out. She's cool. What's funny is she was very germ-minded even before COVID broke out. And it's just, she didn't have to like adjust. She was already that afraid of germs even before the fucking thing even happened. So
I just kind of had to turn it up a couple of notches.
Right.
Like I was always like kind of liberal anyway, you know, like I grew up, you know, like playing in the dirt and, you know, like I'm an 80s baby, you know what I'm saying? Like I had no problem like being fucking dirty. Like I feel like we have been one of the last, you know, generations to be able to do that. Like we just fucking outside, like from sun up to sundown, you know? But like when I became a mom and like my kid started trying to put every fucking thing in his mouth from like the moment he could roll over. And I was like, oh God, like all this shit. And also like, I've done a lot of retail management, Neil.
Do tell.
Worked a lot of retail management, my friend. From like literally the first job out of the gate at 16, I went into like apply to be an associate at I think Dollar Tree, and they were like, "So would you like to be a key holder?" And I was like, "But I just wanted like a couple of hours." You know what I'm saying? So that was the snowball. So I've always been somewhere in middle management. You know what I'm saying? Like a key holder or assistant manager or like store manager or something like that. And man, at some point I ended up working for the Salvation Army thrift stores here in Southeastern Michigan. And when I tell you, like, I've been cussed out for things that you would not think have value. Like, you know, like the old school mouse, okay? The one with the little round adapter, not the USB mouse.
Oh, yeah.
All my, like, you know, you buy a mouse for your computer now, it's got a USB adapter. Nah, I'm talking about how back in the day, you used to have to plug that bitch back into the tower.
Yeah.
There was a little teal adapter and the one little purple adapter, right?
Yeah.
And the one was the keyboard and the teal one was for your mouse.
Yeah.
This came in there at fucking 8:45 on a Saturday night, cussing, hollering, screaming because we did not have the mouse that he wanted, and he had talked to somebody on the phone and he told him we had it.
It's not Best Buy. You know,
it's only $3.
It's not Best Buy.
The store, sir, we're about to close. There's a line of people behind you. I'm not doing this with you. Like he was. I feel like
oh, there you are. Sorry, your voice cut out a second.
No, you're fine. I said I feel like working in retail, you just learn not to take shit personal. You know, if you get to work in customer service, like I always say, I feel like everybody should be required to work at least a year in some sort of customer service, either restaurant, like food, you know, like hospitality, something. work directly with the fucking public, you know, like directly be paid to serve motherfuckers, okay? Just a year, 365 days and just see. And like 2 years, if you want, you know, like that's when you really get in deep. And then like, you know, maybe you get to clean up somebody's asshole that exploded all over a bathroom, you know.
I'm gathering the stories right now. I got a couple. So,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe, you know, maybe you get to like chase a bunch of kids around like it's a fucking daycare and you're just trying to reorganize the fucking linens and home department. Maybe that's all you're trying, you know what I'm saying? Everybody needs to fucking work in customer service.
It's a humbling experience. I've been in restaurant food service ever since I was 15. I used to scoop ice cream and I would get yelled at by, you know, all of the white folk. That,
oh yeah.
Well, because I was talking to Nord about this. I grew up in a town called Northville, Michigan, which is like it's one town west of Livonia, and you know how white Livonia is.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that map that was going around that it said it had all of the regions of southeastern Michigan, and then it kind of like said this type of people live here and here and here, and then like downriver it'd say mostly juggalos, and then further downriver it'd say juggalos on meth. Well, I grew up in the neighborhood that said extremely white, you know. So
yeah.
And you want to talk Karens before they were Karen. I mean, before they were called Karen,
right.
before they were called Karen, they were just cunts, and that was and that was like my whole fucking life is dealing with Karens in Northville, like at the restaurants and whatnot. And so I'm trying to think of how many years ago this was. I was working at this catering company, and we'd bring out these big grills, and in the middle of the summer we'd be grilling up, chicken kebabs, burgers, like all types of barbecue shit. It's part of the catering company. We come out, we bring the grill, and we grill your shit. I'm working this wedding, and you have to wear a chef coat, and you already know how sweaty I am. I'm sweaty as shit. On top of it, I'm on SSRIs. I'm on antidepressants at the time, which make you sweat even more. It's 100 degrees. I got a chef hat on, and I got a black nylon like chef coat, whatever they make that shit out of. Is it like I don't know what the fuck is made out of. It's a poly cotton blend. I don't fucking know. But so I'm cooking these chicken kebabs, and everyone at the wedding party, they're eating the chicken kebabs faster than I'm able to cook them, because you don't want to give anyone uncooked chicken. You could kill them. Salmonella is a thing.
It is.
So the dude who's getting married comes up to me, and he's like, "You gotta cook these fucking chicken kebabs faster." And I'm like, I'm going as fast as I can, sir. You know, I'm trying to be nice at first. Yeah. And so I have to lean over in order to see whether or not this chicken is cooked. Like you take the tongs, and I usually have 2 tongs when I'm doing the grilling, and you peel the chicken back to see if it's still pink or not, if it's pink or white. If it's white, you know, it can go. And it cooks a little bit in the pan too. So either way, I'm leaning over and I'm looking at this chicken to see if it's ready, and unbeknownst to me, I'm dripping sweat onto the chicken. And the guy, he looks at me and he's like, "Could you quit fucking sweating all over my chicken?" And like he was pissed. And I'm just like, and then I got kind of snarky because I was tired of him yelling at me. I got yelled at my whole life by my dad. You know, it makes me stop listening, and then it makes me fucking be a little prick. You know, it makes me snarky. So and I look at him, I'm like, "Sorry, sir, I wish I could control my bodily functions better." And then he got really mad at me. He's like, "You got a fucking attitude problem." He went and told my manager. My manager was like 4 years younger than me. He was like a younger dude. He came up to me. He's like, "Fuck that guy." He's been. My manager's like, he's been bitching the whole time. And
he didn't want to get married. That's why he didn't want to be there.
Oh man, but he was like a male Karen. He was like an angry fucking white dude that it was his special day, and he just had to scream at the fat dude sweating all over his chicken. And been there,
dude.
I've been there. But it's good because when you when you go and someone is making your food, you say thank you, you say please, you tip them well, because you know what it feels like to be in that position where you're running your ass off for some dickhead that doesn't get how hard you're working for a fucking measly 15%. You know?
I tip everybody.
Yeah.
Like for everything. Like I, you know, I had to when I pick my groceries up, when I do like the Kroger pickup, I pick my groceries up and I tip them. Like I have to like, they're not even supposed to fucking take a tip. I'm not gonna talk about which Kroger I fucking go to because I like,
don't yeah.
But you're not. But they're technically not supposed to take a tip. I don't give a fuck. There was one day it was fucking a typhoon, like fucking torrentially downpouring outside. This bitch is like, no, I got you. I was getting out of the car to like help put the stuff in the car. She said, no, ma'am, I got you. And I was like, sweetheart, like she didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like if you don't fucking take this, like, because it's, I feel like I just get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been there. Like I've had to take a bunch of fucking donations out of the backseat of somebody's car in the fucking pouring rain. You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, you whole like trunk and backseat full of nasty ass plastic bags. We're actually not going to be able to recycle and sell maybe more than a third of this. But okay, like I, you know, had she been like, here, thank you for unloading all this shit, and he tried to hand me some money, I would have gladly taken that shit.
I always take tips. I was doing retail and I was working at this, I can't even think. It was like a rehearsal studio. A bunch of, you know, band people come in there to rehearse. They pay hourly, and this was in Santa Fe Springs, California. I worked there all of 2019. And there was one time some guy just like gave me a $5 bill, and I'm like, okay, yeah. You know, like, thanks. Because it's funny, because sometimes you'll try to tip someone, will be like, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. It's like who the fuck cares? I mean, unless your manager's like standing Joe Biden distance away from you and breathing down your neck, you know? Take the fucking tip. This shit's hard. Standing on your feet for fucking 6 to 12 hours and running around and having fucking Karen scream at you.
I know you ain't making enough money for this shit.
Take the tip.
Take this tip. I know you're not making enough, because I've been there.
Okay, so this is another funny thing about the whole Karen thing is my brother's baby mama, my brother's ex-wife, she is the epitome of live, laugh, love all over the house, and she subscribes to us weekly. She's not a bad person, but she's an uptight white woman. And her name by birth on her birth certificate is Karen.
Oh,
so not only does the meme exist, but she's the spitting image of the meme. On top of it, her actual birth name is Karen. So I remember there was like a little meme going around on the internet. And it was you know how people make those fake action figures where they like do it on Photoshop? They had a Karen action figure. And I sent it to my brother, because my brother doesn't go on Facebook. My brother doesn't do social media. My brother's not on the internet. And I sent it to him. I'm like, dude. He's like, what is this? He's like, they made an action figure out of my ex-wife. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. Karen is like a thing. It's a thing.
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he got kind of a chuckle out of it. But in all fairness to Karen, my brother's baby mama, my brother's not an easy guy to deal with either. So whatever happened between the two of them, I'm pretty sure both parties made it hard for each other. So
maybe Karens reserve their patience for home. I don't know.
It's hard for me to.
I'm throwing out half-cocked theories right now.
It's hard for me to speculate, because if I had to marry and live with my brother, and I love him to death, he'd be a hard man to be married to, and myself included. Like, you know, I tell my girlfriend all the time, she's like, you're so difficult. I'm like, I know.
Oh my God. I've been, okay. Like, I've been in a happy committed relationship for the last 7 years. It's officially longer than the happy years I spent in my marriage. And like, it's honestly only because like we fucking communicate. Like I'm here at 37, I found a way to fucking maybe sort of kind of get my thoughts out of my mouth, right? Like, because something happens before you spit them out, right? Like the thoughts are fine up here, especially because a lot of times they're in a jumble. So there's like 8 or 9 of like, trains of thoughts happening up here at one time. Blah, 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 blah. But then they all fight to get out at the same time. If somebody else is talking, then it's like they're fighting too. And then if there's other stimuli coming in, you're forming opinions about that. So now there's like 16 trains of thought all trying to come out at the same time. And when I was in my 20s, in my 20s, I didn't know, for real, I didn't realize all that shit was happening. I also was like married and in a relationship for 13 years and did not go to any sort of counseling after having been in steady therapy from like age 13 to 18, 20 or 20, something like that, whenever I got off my parents' insurance. But a bitch was every week, every other week at the least, you know what I mean? And then I just stopped cold turkey because of the way that my ex-husband, thought about that sort of stuff. He was like, oh, you just, he was one of those pray it away, let's just give you all the things you need, or like,
it's not that simple.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like not even in the least. So,
no.
When I finally did get back into therapy, my therapist was like, so like after the first couple of like sessions, you do the whole like, this is where I am, right?
I had that yesterday.
Right, yeah, okay. Right, so it was like that. And so at the end of it, she was like, so what I'm getting is that you went for 13 years without taking any sort of, she's like, without doing any sort of therapy or without getting any professional assistance, right, with what you were going through. And you expected, like she said, what did she say? Anxiety, or no, depression, because I've been clinically depressed all my life. Like my father's is, it runs in my family, and so we do stuff about it. We don't just sit on it, like we do stuff about it, right? So she's like, you go for 13 years and with clinical depression and you don't address it. And then you wonder why at a certain point you started having anxiety attacks. Like those are gonna come, honey, if you don't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're okay, I'm glad you're sitting here. You're okay. Remember that. Like, those were like every time, she's like, we went down the line, there was a bunch of stuff that, we were kind of talking about, and she's like, that was an anxiety attack. 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 And I was like, oh, okay. Like, like I really fucking am okay. But you can't sort that shit out on your own, man.
Yeah, everything you're saying is so relevant to me right now because so my dad died, and I never had therapy my whole life until my dad died. When my dad died, I had so much shit to sort out. I started seeing this therapist lady, but then things got sort of good. 2019, I was employed. I was actually saving money. I was getting out of credit card debt, but I still was pretty miserable. Reasonably miserable. It
ebbs and flows.
Sometimes it's like you're really, really miserable. But I was getting by, so I stopped talking to the lady, and for about a year and a half, until I was on a hike with my girlfriend like a few days ago. She's like, "You need to talk to your therapist," because I literally we were hiking down this like oceanside cliff path, this beautiful in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, right by the Trump golf course, but they let the regular folk walk down the path. Yeah. It's really weird because you're walking down this path and then there's all these fucking golfers that are golfing on Trump's golf courses. This really weird kind of juxtaposition. But
yes.
But so I'm walking down this path and I'm like literally telling myself that I'm like, dude, it's like I don't even fucking want to be alive. And it's like, so you have that internal feeling, and then what was happening around me is like the most beautiful natural setting. It's not good. And I talked to her yesterday, and pretty much I had to be like, so in the last year and a half, blah 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 blah. She's like, why didn't you call me? And I'm just like, things were going good. Were they going good? That's the question. Were they going good?
Were they going good?
Because my girlfriend will attest to me being a miserable, depressed fuck like 5 out of 7 days of the week. and I refuse, even though maybe I should. I was on Zoloft for 6 years, and I hated the side effects. It turned me into a robot. I didn't cry at my grandma's funeral. My penis didn't work the way it was supposed to. I go on this rant all the time. So
no, I feel you, man. I know, like, you and a bunch of my other loved ones have the same fucking story. Like, you are in real good company, man. I know some cold motherfuckers who had the same shit to say about Zoloft.
So I don't want to. Well, and I know there's other shit that I could take, but I just don't want to go back on drugs. I want to deal with it. But the thing is like, you can only deal with it if you're dealing with it. And I wasn't dealing with it because all I was doing is like telling my fucking girlfriend how miserable I am all the time. And
you got to find what works for you.
I gotta talk to the old European lady from Ohio. She's my savior. She almost died. And that's the other thing too, is when I found my therapist, because I hadn't talked to her in over a year, her phone wasn't working. So I got on the internet and I tracked her down. I called her like old work and I'm like, what's up with Anna? Like, is Anna okay? And they're like, she was in the hospital and she was sick. And then so I'm like, oh my God. But then she like texted me back and she's like, I'm doing much better. I almost died. But she helped me realize like all of my addiction issues and all of my daddy issues, like when my dad died at all. And then all of my relationship issues have to do with my addiction issues, because I get in these relationships. It's once I quit drinking, I needed to be addicted to something. So I got addicted to the validation I got from having someone tell you that you're great or that you love you. And then I became addicted to that. And it's a vicious cycle, because I never learned how to love myself.
Come on.
Because the whole time I was growing up, my daddy would always be telling me that I wasn't shit, that I was weak, that I had a low pain tolerance, that I didn't sit up straight, that my music dreams were a means to an end, that I should be doing this with my life, I should be doing that with my life. He even get this, and I hate to speak ill of the dead, but he came and saw us open up. And I didn't invite him. That's the other thing. He would just show up and shit. We opened up for Fishbone in 2012 at St. Andrews Hall, and so that was in like November or September. And then I remember we had family Christmas, and I only saw this motherfucker once a year, because that's how much it got to the point where I saw him 0 times a year and up until he died. It's a whole long thing, but
it's okay.
He tells me about Fishbone. He says to me, the place wasn't exactly packed now, was it? And I'm just thinking to myself, what have you done that's actually attracted a crowd in your entire life? What, were there people lining up to buy used cars off you when you were miserable at the job you hated? Like, dude, you don't have to fucking shit on literally everything.
Dude.
And then, he just dogged Fishbone. But then my uncle was like, party at Ground Zero. That's the shit. He's like, because my uncle is a little bit younger than my dad, but he was like in college in the 80s. So like,
okay, right on.
So when Fishbone was like on MTV and shit in the early 80s,
he was seeing all that shit.
Yeah, my uncle was like, oh, these guys are cool. Like my uncle, he's not hip, but he's hipper than my dad. You know, my dad fucking grew up in Grosse Pointe. And
oh man, say less.
Yeah, but
damn.
But it's weird because you don't realize this shit. You don't realize this shit when you're a kid. Like, we would go and visit our grandma in Grosse Pointe, and you didn't realize that divide of Mack Avenue is.
I lived off of Mack.
It's a thing, man. There, like, you want to talk about when people say the other side of the tracks. That track is Mack Avenue, and the fucking people.
It sure is.
The people that live in Grosse Pointe, at least the old heads, like my grandma, like rest in peace and all that. But you want to talk about like deep rooted racism.
Deep.
And my mom had zero of that, even though both of her parents were pretty outwardly racist, but my mom is just a sweetie and appreciates. Yeah. Like, she raised me, my mother raised me, but it's wild. Like, it just makes so much sense when you get a little bit older and you can look at things in hindsight, be like, okay, my dad is the way he is because he grew up in a well-to-do family, living in Grosse Pointe, where fucking literally a half mile away they could just point and be like, those people, you know, and
some of those streets. Let me tell you something. Right before I moved out to Ypsilanti. Like I lived in Detroit up until I was about 13. I moved out to Ypsilanti. My pops got a house out in the subdivision. And we moved out there. But before we moved, I lived at Grayton and Cornwall, which is 3 blocks up from Mac. I would literally ride my bike. Like I'd ride my bike down to Jefferson, like, and just cruise and like find a little spot, you know what I'm saying? And bring a book and water, you know, like, oh man, fucking beautiful. Yeah. But like, I never felt safe. Like for real. I always felt like I had to pretend like I was, or not pretend, because it's not like I was doing anything wrong, but like I felt like I had to like put on like I was like not the intimidating Negro. Like I'm just riding my bike through here, folks. You know what I'm saying? No big deal. I'm not trying to rob anybody's house. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know, riding my fucking bike. But it's literally right there. And some of those streets don't go through. Like some of those streets right there at Mac cut off. And there's like really nice fucking like, you know, landscaping and trees and shit right there. But like, why right there? Like why right there at like Kensington or whatever it is? You know, there are these specific streets. You can pull that shit up on Google, you know.
Because the bankers decided that a long time ago.
Yep,
you know?
Yep.
Well, it's just like my mom lives in Dearborn, and we're a Ford family. My grandpa worked for Ford. He retired from Ford, and he was a World War II vet. And but like Henry Ford had that shit mapped out. It's like, okay, Dearborn,
yes, he did.
we're gonna put all of my white workers, and then over here in Inkster,
and further,
yep, is where we're gonna put and a lot of
further out.
And I've seen it's weird because when you grow up in the bubble that I grew up in, you don't realize all this shit about your own city until your eyes are open a little bit. Something has to happen, or you have to read articles, or you have to do a little research. It's just. And the weird part is so many people, these people that are fucking saying all lives matter and shit, they're the ones that stayed in the fucking bubble.
Yep.
And they're still pointing their fingers at outside the bubble and being like, did you see that shit recently where it was in the suburbs? There was one white dude with a Black Lives Matter sign, and there was some Karen lady that called the cop on one protester. I just posted it on my Instagram stories. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
Oh, my goodness.
She says to this guy, she's like, I don't want you to incite a riot. And like in the suburbs, one white guy holding a Black Lives Matter sign is going to put that woman in danger. But that's how people, like in the town I grew up in, that's how they think. That's their group think mentality. It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's insane, man. You know, so crazy.
And we kind of like it. The conversation kind of naturally went into this, and we don't have to stay here if you don't want to, because
it's like, cool, man. It's all right.
Because I noticed your post about. It's like, okay, for all the white people asking me how I can help the movement, yada yada, I'm starting to charge a consulting fee because it's overwhelming. Like, go into your mindset, because I don't think a lot of people realize that could be somewhat offensive.
Dude, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, like you talk about the bubble. There is a bubble, and I didn't realize when I was moving out of Detroit. When I moved out of Detroit, I was just upset that I wasn't going to get to go to the same high school as the rest of my friends.
That sucks.
I was excited because I was like, this is 8th grade. I got to walk home from school by myself. And so I was looking forward to being in high school, getting able to, you know what I'm saying, walk home from school, maybe catch the bus to the mall. You know, like I'm looking forward to doing all that kind of like city kid stuff. My dad's like, nah, we're moving out to Ypsi. Like shit is, we're moving out to Ypsi. You're going to be a rail splitter. Like you're going to Lincoln High School, you know? And it was like, I'm not sure what the exact, you know, like statistics were, but there were obviously like just a sprinkle of Black folks when I first got there. And my graduating class, by the time we graduated, I think there were a few more folks, but like, I wouldn't say 60-40, you know, white folks to Black folks and then the 40 is Black folks and everybody else too, right? Like,
Yeah.
like so it's, you know, there's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of everybody. But like, I had people who I graduated with who, you know, like were on the basketball team or were like on the football team, you know, like, and you're supposed to be like homies with like other Black folks. Like, why are you in my inbox? like what is, okay, so I watch a lot of The Office. Like, I love The Office.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a moment where Oscar looks at the camera and he says, like, why is it my job to make straight men feel better? I think Andy had come to him and asked him if he was gay or something like that. Andy's like, do you know if I'm gay? Like, I don't know. Like, but I'm okay, right? So Oscar's like, if I'm remembering it correctly, the lead up. But Oscar's like, you know, this can't possibly fall to me. This can't possibly be my job. And I'm irritated. I was irritated because here's the thing. I get on my Facebook and like, I have friends like you and other friends who are white and sharing fucking resources. Hey, here's all the shit you can fucking do. Also, Google is a thing. You literally don't even have to click. You can talk to your fucking phone. And use that same energy you jumped in my inbox about while I'm like trying to raise a Black man by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, on pandemic unemployment, and the bitch has been working her whole life, some way, shape, or form, with at least one job, because you are like, nobody's gonna fucking downplay being a musician, not to me, regardless of, you know what I'm saying, how you feel about going to punch a fucking clock every day.
Oh,
goddamn,
you gotta, yeah.
It's a fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking job. Okay, yeah. So on top of the mad hours we keep as entertainers. Okay, like, and trying to homeschool and like keep safe from this invisible virus. Honestly, like,
it's a lot.
Capacity. Like, if you got one fucking thing, if one thing graduating from Lincoln High School or living in that goddamn bubble is given out, like, it's handing out the audacity. Like, okay, boom, here's the audacity. Boom, here's the audacity. Boom, here's the audacity. Like, because I'm an empath and I feel really hard and I'm always crying at shit. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful shit.
Pixar
and like,
movies.
Shit and everything in between makes me fucking cry.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, like, music makes me cry.
Oh yeah.
You know, thing, right? Everything fucking makes me cry, Neil. Like,
I'm there, dude.
Okay, God, everything, Neil, every fucking. And so, like, oh man, it's easy for me to relate to people, and it's hard for me. As easy it is for me to relate to people, it's hard for me to understand how it's so hard to pull your head out of your ass. Like, how far up your ass have you shoved your own head? You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, that's a carefree existence.
Well, it's weird. It's weird to me because it just shows, like, anyone that from your high school that hasn't talked to you in a long time, that's just like, that's gonna pop into your inbox and be like, hey, what do I do to become an ally? It's like, well, so you just started listening now? Like, and that's the crazy shit, because this shit isn't new. This is hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years.
And I consider myself lucky because I dated one of my exes. I dated from 2012 to 2016, and she what's it called? She's an activist. She's flying signs in the street. She's very politically minded.
Yeah.
And it was, as much as her loud voice at times could, you know, there's a myriad of things when you're involved with someone, but I learned so much from her. I learned so much because, you know, when you're a cis fucking white dude like me that grew up in a fucking bubble suburb of Detroit, you can have an idea of what sucks, but you sometimes need to be guided by somebody. And she really fucking showed me how horrendous everything is, how much we've been lied to since the beginning of this fucking country. And I really appreciate her opening my eyes to a lot of that shit. She's a little radical at times, you know. She's a little too intense at times.
It happens.
But she yeah. What's funny is her and Alex Webb. We call Webb Durr, and then we call her Druh because she's Alexandra and he's Alexander. So, yeah.
I think I'm okay, right
Yeah.
on. I think he told me about Druh.
So when I first started playing music with Alex, we had Durr and Druh, but what's funny is they're both so passionate that they would find themselves at odds with each other. Because they didn't see exactly in line. But anyway, shouts out to Druh for kind of opening my eyes. And that's the thing is it doesn't really take someone to help you see the tyranny. All it takes is for you to fucking listen and open your eyes. And especially now, because if you go on social media now, like you said, there's so many resources being shared. All you have to do is read. Just read.
That's it.
Watch some
That's
videos. And then, you know, fucking decide which fucking who you want to give your money to or what, you know, it's
true.
And then there's also a bunch of resources on what to do if you're not in the streets protesting.
Yeah. They're hard. Come on. You don't have to be like there's other shit you can do.
Yeah, and you know, I'm in my bunker, but I got this. Like I talked to Norwood last week, and I'm talking to you now. Like I want to use my stupid little internet show as a way to amplify some black voices because, I mean, like I told Norwood, it's funny. I told Norwood, I said my audience is primarily white, and he laughed. He said my audience is primarily white as well. He was like laughing about it, but then he recanted a little bit and said it's diverse. Definitely,
it is. Yeah, I watched it, man. You guys, yeah.
But that's the thing is. I just want to do what I can, you know, and I want to follow the lead of the people that are leading this. It's not for us to decide, us being me, white people, to decide we should be following your lead, and that I think people need to hear that shit, and you know, but maybe not inbox. Fucking I went to high school with a black girl. Let me inbox her and she'll set me straight on what I need to do. It's a little lazy.
You know,
it's a little lazy.
Man, like really, honestly, and I'm not. The horse is dead. I'm not gonna keep beating.
Yeah.
But you know, like honestly, I will say that like I have felt a lot of love. That I was not expecting, you know, like sometimes I have a journal that I put my deep thoughts in, but then that there are also things I share with the public, and that's what becomes, you know, a status or a poster or whatever, you know. So I'm not one of those people that is just like constantly like sharing every single thought or every action. Ooh, I'm making mac and cheese for dinner.
Right.
Like I'm not. What I'm saying, like I'm not that person, you know what I'm saying?
Our friend Ron,
you know,
he's but you know, if you couldn't use your butthole for a year,
right. Dude, listen,
you would post about it.
I'm so excited about his fresh butthole. Yes. Like I told him that I was like, I texted him like that. That's the tightest butthole. That's his tight butthole. Like that's that. See how tight that is? See that?
Yeah. Well, and it just. You know, it's to your discretion. You can use your Facebook as your journal, or you could have a journal and use your Facebook as you don't have to share it, and it's to your discretion.
Sure.
But I think the world needs people like Ron who might be oversharing a little bit, but that sort of what's it called?
I don't think that's an overshare.
Well, the only reason I say this, I was about to go on this other story, because we had this booking agent that he took me aside. He's like, what's up with your bass player? He like tells people too much, and I'm just like, well, who are you? I'm like, who are you to decide who's too much? Like, you know,
right.
I had a giant hemorrhoid a few years back, and I told everyone about it just because, like,
that sucks.
Oh, it's okay. I was on tour with Fishbone, actually. It was funny because the dude that was playing bass at the time was driving my van, and I laid on the bench seat of the van sideways. And he just pumped me full of kratom. Do you know what kratom is? It's that herbal kind of it's like an opioid, but it's plant-based.
Yes, yeah.
He just pumped me full of that, and I just like lay it on my side, and every bump we'd go over, it'd just be like, and then every time I hit a high note when I was playing the gigs, it'd be like, So it's like,
oh man,
hemorrhoids are real. But anyway, I don't even. What were you getting at? Because I think I interrupted you. You were talking about you got your journal, and then what you shared. You got your.
Oh, I just didn't expect to get the love, man, that I've received. You know what I'm saying? Like it just unexpected. Like I've just gotten a lot of love, you know, in response to that. And like, I just appreciate the work that everybody is doing right now.
It's working. It may not be working. It may not be working the way it like 100% justice, but man, when like I said, the NFL, I mean, it's a good look for PR. That's why they apologized. But
yeah.
But it's about fucking time.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, here's the thing too, and somebody posted a meme that said the bus boycott was 381 days or 361 days, something like that. And I saw that and I was like, you know what? Like, like that puts it in perspective. And my sister who lives in Minneapolis, who was like giving support to the protesters the first night, like the first and second night, like she was like, so my roommates and I opened up our home, and anybody who needs to like come and rest, if you need to take a shower, if you have wounds that you need dressed, you know, like you can, if you need to eat, you know what I'm saying? Do you need a phone to call someone? Do you know, like she's like literally like doing her and her 3 roommates up everything they could. And they're not necessarily like right in that area, but they were nearby, you know, or close enough for people to be able to get there. And so I'm just like, there's so many ways that you can help. And I was like, I did the Occupy thing. I was part of Occupy. And I had a whole bunch of camping supplies and gave, like, I had a couple of tents, like I was like, here, just take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back. And I don't know how much time I spent down, it was Grand Circus Park here in Detroit. I was there all the time, and I met people who ended up being musicians that I played with later. You know, and just artists and activists who are like still are now in this fight. And like, you can't let up. Protesting fucking works. Like, this is fucking working. I'm not necessarily, I'm not, you know, like, I'm not somebody who's like busting out car windows and shit like that. But I understand. I fucking understand, you know. I really fucking do. I know, and for people who are you know, talking about like, oh, it's small business owners, blah, blah. You know, I literally, every small business owner I know personally, one who has stores in multiple cities, one that was affected, like literally, was like, fuck it. As a matter of fact, like, Busted, okay? Lee, who owns Busted in Detroit, Busted Bra Shop in Detroit and Chicago. Shout out to Lee. Lee was like, listen, are you listening to why people are pissed off? The window is fucking fixed. Like, don't worry about the window. The window is fine. Do you understand why people are mad? Listen, you know, I appreciate that. Like, I just appreciate the work. There's a rally right now in Detroit that's LGBTQ. And I'm like, yes, like, everybody fucking, like, we're pissed off. And it's a fucking K to be pissed off. People who think that, or people who try to like flap their jaws to say that protesting doesn't work, how un-American is that? Like, like, let's be real. How un-American is it? Like, honestly, are you, or maybe you just weren't paying attention to history class. And I get it that I'm a nerd and I'm the person who sits around and like watches the like National Geographic fucking shows, you know, for fun, and the Ken Burns documentaries. I've seen all together. And I know each episode is 2.5 hours. I don't give a fuck. I love Ken Burns jazz. I'm fucking, like, and what's the other one? The one that the newest one I think is Reconstruction. That one's fucking amazing. Like, like, I get that I'm that person that likes history, but there's so much that we can learn by, like, literally just turning on a Ken Burns, like an old school, like, Ken Burns documentary, and sitting and paying attention to the way shit was, and like the way it is now.
It's like there wouldn't be civil rights if there wasn't protest. There wouldn't be women's rights if there wasn't protest. There wouldn't be gay rights if there wasn't protest. So this is just the next logical step, and it's terrible that it took this long. But I started dating my ex during the beginning of the Occupy movement in 2012, or maybe it was like, but that fizzled out. But the way I look at this is it's just it was a bigger inciting incident that the entire world is pissed about, and to see this happening in real time, this is unprecedented. It's really. I
kept saying that. That's the word I say all the time.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented. It is. It's fucking unprecedented. I'm sorry.
It's a great word. It's a fucking. It's a vocabulary baseball word. But you have so many other countries that saw what happened in America, and they're fucking pissed about it. Canada's pissed about it. Fucking pissed about it in Europe. They're pissed about it in Asia. And if that's what needs to happen in order for things to fucking change, then it's about fucking time. And
let's do it. They're talking about fucking taking down statues of King Leopold in Belgium. Let's do it. Snatch it down. Fuck them. What is it doing? I stumbled on it might be CNBC or C I think it was CNBC. Whatever. It was
one of those.
One of those that's on fucking YouTube. And it just came out this week, and they were talking about Southern monuments. And there is a little town that has a fucking auction block still sitting in the corner. Did you watch? Dude,
yeah.
What the fuck? It's fucking insane. And they're like, well, we can't take it down because
it's history. It's
historical significance.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck historical significance. Like, well, that's the other thing too, is the last tour I did, the last big tour we did, we played in Richmond, Virginia, and it's really close to Charlottesville, and that whole Robert E. Lee statue, it's about fucking time they get rid of that piece of shit. Like, what is that honoring? Get rid of that. Get rid of that shit. And did you see the photo where someone took a projector and they projected George Floyd's face?
Yes.
Onto that shit is, and then all the spray paint and the people hanging out. Oh man, that's like history defining, because like in 20 or so years they're gonna look back and they'll be like, that's when everyone was sick of taking the shit, and that's when things started to change. Hopefully that is the narrative 20 years from now, when I'm fucking like almost 50. Wait, no, I'm gonna be almost 60 in 20 years. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die soon.
Shut up.
Well, you never know, but
I know you really.
I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, but this is the thing. Like, what's happening right now is going to be talked about years and years from now, and we need to make this change stick. It can't just be some PR shit like, oh, we arrested the bad guys. I mean, they still haven't arrested the Breonna Taylor murderers.
Come on. And like, I brought this up because I saw someone else bring it up, and this was one of the first. I couldn't remember the young man's name, but there was a teenager who was found wrapped up in a goddamn gym mat. And they're like, it's suicide. He's missing vital organs. How?
Yeah.
How? Can we address that? And I believe I don't remember where it was at. I know it was here in the state. It was stateside somewhere. So like there's a lot, and that's why like it's important that it's not just a fucking PR stunt. Like, the Black Lives Matter was really cute in front of the White House, but like, can that like actually, let's apply all of this shit to like to what actually matters, like, and changing the way that we live and work with each other. You know what I'm saying? And like the way that Black people are viewed, period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ultimately, that's the hope. But I was having a conversation with my girlfriend last night about corporate America, and you know how they monetized gay rights like recently, like when Pride comes around, every single big corporation is like, we support Pride, and now they're doing that with Black Lives Matter, like all the Amazon, these video game companies, and I'm just really hoping that it leads to an actual appreciation and understanding of the culture and the gifts that Black people have given us over the years, but you know, there's a part of me that just is like, oh, those sneaky fucking bastards. They just know it's good business, like Amazon.
Right,
you
man.
know?
Me too.
Like, so, but it's cool. It's cool to see it. But it's cool the NFL apologize. But it's like Colin Kaepernick was like, the reason I was kneeling was because of fucking police brutality. He said that years ago, and all the sports people are like, rabble, you're disrespecting the flag. It's like. This country is disrespecting people of color by murdering them in the streets, and that's why I'm kneeling. And no one listened. No one listened until everyone was fucking pissed off enough to actually do something about it. Now the NFL's like, we're sorry. We're sorry. It's like, fuck off.
We're sorry.
So that's the thing. Is it disingenuous? Are the apologies disingenuous? Is the support of the movement disingenuous, or is it something we should welcome? Like there's a part of me that
feel like
I don't trust anybody.
You know, like I tell people all the time, I'm a fucking VHS era conspiracy theorist. Okay, like oh man, behold a fucking pale horse, man. You know, like I've been there. Like I fucking used to. My first weed man had on his windows, and he was a white kid in the middle of the fucking suburbs. Okay, like he's a computer programmer and like he's a fucking makes what is it? What do they call it? EMD? Is that what they call it? Not EMD. Is that what is it? What they fucking? Did I say that right? Not EMT. No. Fuck. What's the not techno? What's the new techno?
Oh, like, EDM.
EDM.
Yeah.
Wrong letters. Whatever. EDM. Right?
He makes DMT.
EDM. Not DMT. He might take DMT. I don't know. But EDM. So he makes fucking EDM. He's a fucking insane computer programmer now. And like it just I can't get over like some shit that we fucking talked about fucking 15 years. I'm 15 years old buying weed from this kid with this fucking aluminum foil on his windows. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, talking about like government conspiracies and shit and how they shot this guy in his front yard because he released a bunch of these documents in this book. And, you know, there's only so many copies of this. And now here we are, like, and all like so much shit. Just so much shit. So I'm just not surprised. I was in 1984 when I was in high school, you know, like I fucking studied George Orwell and I fucking read Octavia Butler, you know, like I'm just some shit I can't get, some ideas I just can't get real comfortable in, you know, like I'll sit in that chair, but I'm 300 pounds, so I'm not going to sit in that chair. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna sit on the edge of that chair and just kind of be ready in case shit pops off. And like, that's kind of how I like, not pops off, but like in case the fucking, you know, bottom falls out. And that's kind of how I'm feeling. Like I'm really in this situation where I'm like, I really appreciate it, but I can't sit with it. I need to see what happens. Like time will tell. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Because you could just be like, oh, that's nice, and then stop making a fuss, and then it all goes back to the way it was. And we need to see actual change. We need to see convictions. We need to see these officers like, fuck a second-degree murder. Like, that was first-degree murder, you know?
Yeah. And then, okay, so one of the things I saw deep diving, like jumping down the YouTube rabbit hole, maybe the first couple of days, like the first or second day, because I'm worried about my sister and I'm trying to see all I can see that's going on in Minneapolis. And I see this interview with a woman who owned a nightclub or a bar where he worked as an off-duty police officer, as a security guard, and so did George. So she's like, they knew each other.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so like now, like I'm like what? So did you really like you knew this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's like he's not the George Floyd didn't seem like the kind of guy, like just watching the video didn't really seem like just he doesn't look the same as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit taller than him, it looked like too, Like, so I don't know. I had so many questions. There's second degree murder. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Really, But let's see what happens. They did reopen Breonna's case.
Yeah.
I saw that happened, but like, don't fucking let up. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. Like, I'm just keep doing what you can. Like, give to these like direct action sort of funds where you're like literally getting supplies to folks who are still out there protesting. It worked in Detroit. They gave up that fucking curfew. And curfew was some bullshit. Y'all wanted us to riot so fucking bad, and that's not what's happening here. As a matter of fact, I feel like the little bit of shit that happened, like if there was a guy that got shot, I feel like that was just a totally separate incident, and that was just something that would have happened regardless of whether or not, I feel like that person was looking for an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that was just a random act of violence. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There was something going on there that I'm sure they'll address at some point. But like, other than that, Detroit has not been violent. All the issues that I've heard about came from police, getting zealous. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that the DPD is perfect, because I remember Malice Green,
Oh yeah, that was big.
I remember the little baby girl Ayanna, who would be 17 right now, and so like DPD is they are not angels by any way, shape, or form, any stretch of the imagination, like, and all of these fucking police departments are overfunded as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
All of them. Like, there's no way it needs to be militarized.
Yeah, there needs to be massive reform and a complete shift in protocol as far as how to deal with escalating situations. Because I'm like, over in Great Britain, I don't even think the cops have guns.
That's the second time today I've talked about that. That's me. Just fucking said that before he walked out the door.
Yeah, but but then again, like, I'm gonna take Norwood's stance on all this and just say I'm just a dude in a band, and I don't know everything about everything, but I like having conversations, and I'm mad curious, but I'm also mad skeptic too, about everything. And like, when it comes to what's going on now, when it comes to trusting the government, when it comes to fucking whether or not there's aliens and Bigfoot, like, I don't fucking know.
Oh man, religion? There's fucking aliens. I wish they would come on.
I'm just a dude.
Listen, and that's, I'm
just a dude. Sorry. I gotta fuck around with the machine every once in a while.
I like your machine, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. I can
do all sorts of crazy shit.
It's fun. But that's why I'm in credit card debt, because I'm like, oh yeah, if I'm gonna stream and have that be my thing, I gotta buy gear, and I'm like, well, I don't have any money, and then so I have these credit cards, but now I don't know how I'm gonna pay for all this shit. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it's all gonna work out. I talked to my therapist yesterday.
That's right. It's all gonna work out, man.
I hope. But it's so far so good,
You're genuine as fuck, man. Like, honestly, from day one. Like, that's why I've been fucking with you.
Oh, hey. I wanted to touch on this. Day one, when I met you, we were opening up for Fishbone at the shelter. And you and I didn't know each other. We never met. I didn't know that you played with Alex, because Alex had done a shitload of shows with Downtown Brown. And I was stage right. And I like, the way the shelter is there's a little ledge you can hop up on, and you can literally, like, spit and sweat and breathe on the audience, so you can get right in there. And I remember the whole show, you were right there and you were screaming at me and I was screaming at you and I was headbanging. You were headbanging. I was just like, ah! And, yeah. And that's how we met.
That's right.
And then,
Cause man, you know, like I'm not fucking funny acting about going to a live show.
yeah.
I enjoy myself. I'm gonna pay my money. I'm gonna get my fun. Like I'm gonna get off. You know what I'm saying?
That's what Andrew WK
Like,
says. He says, I'm gonna have a fun night. I gotta get off. Yeah. Anyway, say your thing. Sorry.
it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
that's the fucking truth. You do. Like I'm gonna get off. Like I came here to
get
count. I'm here for this. This is what I'm here for. Like we're gonna fucking scream and yell. We're gonna sing our favorite goddamn songs. I'm gonna push this guy for pushing into me because I just, you know what I'm saying? Like I know, like I've been doing this 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like 20 fucking years. You know, like which is why I love going to see bands like Fishbone, like Living Color, like Fishbone. You know what I'm saying? And like I look around and we all in our 30s. Everybody's knees hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit is aching, but we are enjoying ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit feels good, you know. But then it's everybody else too. Like it's not just, you know, 30, 40, 50 somethings, you know what I'm saying? But like it feels good, you know, to get it out. Like you gotta, man.
Yeah. I miss it.
You got to get it out. Like I remember there more than once I played shows around town and been bitching at the audience, like in a loving way. Like, listen, okay, now Detroit, like I know y'all like to get dressed up and come out and just get dressed up. That's not one of those shows. You know, this is not what this is. So enjoy yourself, shake your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, let your hair down a little bit. Like, I don't know. I'm a funkadelic. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand listening to music without feeling it. You know, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to like fucking classical. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't let it hit you. You know, like I said, you know what I'm saying? Like, and especially if a motherfucker's playing it live in front of you.
Yeah.
Please.
It's a beautiful thing. And I think it goes back to what you're saying about being an empath. Is like if you are tuned in to those frequencies, then if someone or a group of people on stage are giving out energy like that, you react to that because you're like, I can feel this. And that's what artists, I feel like so many artists, whether or not you're a painter or you're a singer or you're a musician or whatever, it's you're tuned in to that energy. And
yes.
I think, and that's the best part about a live show. And I've talked about this on this podcast so much is it's this cathartic thing that you don't think about and you just feel. And when it's firing and when it's working, and it's better than any fucking drug I've ever taken. And that's why I keep doing it, even though I don't know when it's coming back. But I'm just sitting here in my fucking bunker talking on the internet and praying and hoping that we can get fucking weird again and sweat on each other. And you know, like that's the thing that bums me out about the social distancing is I was talking to my friend Zoin, and he's in this Long Beach band called Wacko, and they're crazy. But I was just talking about how when you're at a big show and the headliner goes on, and next thing you know, you're like, and being, you know, having a dick, like you have your nuts up against some stranger's butt in front of you, and everyone's pushing, and you're literally like being sandwiched in between hundreds of people, but you have this giant grin on your face, and you know that pit's gonna open up. Like, I want that back. Is that gonna come back? I don't know, but that, like, when I was 16 and I went to my first like Bad Religion concert, and I saw it, and I was in the mosh pit, and everyone's pushing, and I'm just like, I want to do this forever, even though like my neck hurts really bad. I have degenerative discs, and I have bulging discs in my lumbar spine, and I got a bad hip, and blah blah blah. But that's the thing. You go up on stage and you forget about all that shit until the show's over, and then you know, snort some ibuprofen or whatever. It's crazy talking about. It's crazy being 39 because I talked to who was I talking to? I was talking to my friend Sky, about how we used to tour with these dudes that were like 30 when we were like 22, and I remember being like, those guys are fucking old. And now I'm 10 years older than they were when I thought they were old, which is like, whoa.
Dude.
But to be alive, and that's why I'm so glad I talked to my therapist yesterday, is just to be alive and to be able to even discuss this stuff, and to be alive to see these changes, and to be alive enough to hope that, you know, we can be in that live concert situation, or that we can hug our fucking mom without worrying about killing her because of the COVID thing. Like, I don't know where I'm getting at, but it's a gift. I didn't think I was gonna make it to 30, and I say this shit all the time. So I have to be grateful, even though shit's fucking weird and shit's hard. Like, we're here, right?
There's like so much shit I'm grateful for. You know what I mean? Like, I threw my room together really fast before we tuned in, right? Because I bought a new bed. So what you can't see is that over here is the old bed, because I haven't gotten to take it out yet. So like, there's boxes and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I've literally been like surviving, like struggling to survive. And I've been like, as fucked up as the reason is that I am home 24/7 with my child, it's given me the opportunity to be home 24/7 with my child for an extended amount of time.
That's beautiful.
Like, my kid is one of those kids that happens to thrive in homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's horribly distracted in school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To the point where he's like wanting to carry on conversations instead of like finish anything that he's doing in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, he's been able to accomplish so much over these last few months. So, you know, I just gotta like, okay, here's a little blessing right here. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna count it. And here's a little blessing right here, and I'm gonna take this. Now that's 2 little blessings. Okay, here's one here. I'm gonna take this. And so that's kind of like, kind of what I've been doing, you know, like little shit. Like, I love that I can see the moon from where I moved my bed to. It wasn't sitting there before. My old bed was a piece of shit, and it was sitting in a different location. I couldn't really see the moon from where I had it before, you know, but now I can, and I'm thankful for that. And like, little shit, you know, like little fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know,
and
I got a nice chair for to sit outside.
Nice.
You know, little fucking shit.
I garbage picked this one. It's really squeaky.
Nice.
It's really squeaky, but it's pretty good. I got my girlfriend. She didn't get it for me. She got it for her, but I'm borrowing her butt pillow right now. It's a little butt cushion. I'm trying not to.
Those are good.
Trying not to stink it up too bad.
Don't fart in it. Yeah, don't.
But that's the thing. Going back to clinical depression, or going back to just being depressed in general, is what I feel like what depression takes you away from, the snowball effect of it, is it takes you away from that gratitude. Because especially in my brain, like I was saying before, the few days ago when I was on that hike, all I could think about is what I didn't like about the world. All I could think about is what I didn't like about myself, what I didn't have. You know, I'm fucking losing my hair. I'm old, and my whole body hurts. Yeah, but I'm not thinking I'm not thinking on the other side of that. It would be like, you're still here. Like, you could have died in that car accident. You could have died on tour when you were, you know, when the fucking tire blew out and you were sandwiched between 2 semis. You could have, you know, you could have drank yourself to death hundreds of times, because I used to drink a lot, you know, and. You know, I think about, like, it's always grass is greener shit, and then I get super fucking sad. I'm just like, oh, the world is a terrible place, but I'm not thinking about what's, like, the change that's occurring and the possibility of a better time in the future. Like, and that's why it's tricky, because
it is, man.
Yeah, so I have a plan now. And my therapist and I were talking about yesterday, when I get to that place where I feel like life isn't worth living, and when I get to that place where I feel like everything that I have is bullshit, and I don't have what I deserve, and I deserve more, and woe is me, and like fucking my dad hurt me, like that, like I gotta. So my therapist, I got a timeout promise that I made to her, where if I go to that place, I need to time out and I need to go be with myself until I fucking can find a way to maybe pull myself out of it. I haven't tried it yet, but it's a plan. The plan is to, when I get there, is to try to do that because I spend most of my time with one other person. She's not here right now, but man, it's got to be hard for her because she's always in a good mood. She's not depressed. She is a pretty happy person, and there are days where I'm fucking suicidal, and not like suicidal like I'm gonna end it. I don't possess the capacity to hurt myself, but there are days where I'm just like, my body hurts so bad, and I'm so sad that I just don't want to be here. And when and then I tell her that, and she freaks the fuck out. She's like, "Oh my God, you need to call someone. Are you gonna hurt yourself?" I'm just like, "It ain't like that. It's just like, it ain't like that. I'm not gonna take myself out. That would devastate my mother. You know, I know there's people that love me. I know I'm loved.
Yeah,
but
totally are, man.
But yeah. So that's my new plan. Is I'm gonna have timeouts now. I'm gonna have timeouts, and if the timeout takes 3 or 4 hours, I gotta be by myself. At least I'm not burdening her with, you know, because she's like, what did you read on the internet? Like, who did you talk to? Like, why do you feel this way? She's trying to make sense of it, like it's like a causes B type thing.
Yeah.
But it ain't. It's not like that. It's just sometimes you just wake up and you hate everything, and you know, and you hate yourself.
I do.
And you hate the past, and you hate your dad. I mean, that's me. You hate somebody.
You hate your mom.
Yeah.
You hate your mom. That's me.
Yeah. So it's like, so I gotta time out now, and I gotta find a way to dig myself out of this shit before I spend fucking the whole day or days, just fucking literally appreciating nothing about what's great about being here. And it's not great all the time, but dude, like, I'm like, that's why I think Ron, back to Ron, he's like, his advocacy for what he went through and his positive attitude through all of the shit is like, it's been so lovely to witness, because I was in a band with that dude when he was really sick, drinking, and I was there when his mom got sick with cancer, and she fought for years, and so he's just blossomed into just such a, not that he wasn't a lovely human before, but it's like he's had a glow the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I said that about him to Q. I was like, you know, because I laid those vocals for Climb, and we had so much fun. Like they're fucking ridiculous.
They're goofballs.
We had so much fucking. I'm ridiculous. First of all, I love being around people who are more ridiculous than me because it gives me a chance to just be fucking ridiculous. Yeah. I don't have to feel like I'm setting the ridiculous bar. It's already been set. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. I do whatever the fuck, you know, I'm be fucking stupid. So like, we had so much fun. But like, he is like just such a light. Like he is just a big old ball of gratitude and love, you know, and you can tell. And I told Q, I was like he's been through some shit. I don't like it. And this is before I knew, like I even really like knew for real, you know, what had been going on, and like, you know, all of the, you know, he's talked a lot about it. You know,
he almost died. He got closer to death than fucking I ever did. You know, like and you know, he was in that car accident when we flipped the van too. So like we shared that, me and Don of Drawn, like we all were in that truck when it flipped. On 94. So like we all shared that, but then what happened to Ron is, you know, what was he saying? 17 hours in surgery, when he went septic. Like he's so lucky to be alive, and I think really, I think that it's just it's and now his butthole works. It's just, you know,
I know he got a fresh butthole. I'm so proud.
It's just,
it's like
that's why when all that shit was going down, with like when shit really hit the fan, and here in LA and Long Beach, and you know, like shit was getting burnt and broken up, and then Ron posted that from his hospital, and I said, and I shared it. I'm just like, some good news, because that's the thing. Life, there's good, there's terrible, There's great, and it's all happening at the same time. It's not just like all good and then terrible. It doesn't just pick sides. It's all happening simultaneously, you know?
That's right. That's life, man.
Yeah. So
Life.
So that being said, I gotta just appreciate that there's wonderful shit and terrible shit, and somehow not just like beat myself up about it. And,
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, and about the past too. That's the other thing too. Is like I sit around thinking about shit that happened 4, 8, 12 years ago, and it's like that shit's over. But I'm like, oh, I could have.
Get over.
I could have done this differently. It's like, okay, did you learn from it? Yeah. Okay, then move on. I can't. I just sit around thinking about it. Sometimes my girlfriend she'll be like, what are you thinking about? I'm just like, I'm thinking, because I don't want to tell her that, like, and I hope she doesn't listen to my podcast. So I think I'm good. I don't want to tell her.
I can't.
She doesn't. She's like, I have to live with this. I'm not gonna fucking listen to this extracurricularly. So.
No, it's fine. It's fine. My partner has a podcast too, and I don't.
Yeah.
I used to watch it like when we've been together 7 years. When we first got together, and like we weren't like when we were dating, I was like every Friday night or whenever it was you know what I'm saying? It's not his podcast either. Like he's on it. You know what I'm saying? He's one I don't know. He's one of the like mainstays though. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been on there from jump. So like it was good, but there's like a lot.
If you live. You know, if we
live together.
Yeah, if you're with someone, you don't need to listen to their fucking podcast because your whole life is their podcast. You know, you know what I'm saying?
and like I'm supportive. I can tell when they've had like a good show. He'll come home and be hoarse, and I'm like, baby, you had a good show.
Yeah,
I can tell.
Yeah,
like, tell him. You talk to him. You talk to them niggas. You talk to them. You tell them. Hold on, good. That's all I needed to know. You told they ass. The good.
That's cool. Yeah, but what I was getting at, she's like, so what are you thinking about? You know, because she wants to know like why I ain't saying shit, and I'm just sitting there like in the bed, or I'm sitting there like on a walk, and I'm just not thinking. And I don't have the heart to be like, well, I'm thinking about in 2013 the conversation I had with my ex when I was at her house, and we were, you know, like I just don't feel like going into that. Be like, hey, I'm wallowing in the fucking insanity that was my past with like said person, and sometimes I'm thinking about 9 different things that all have to do with the same trauma, and I just don't feel like bringing her into that world, you know, like. And what's funny about her is she's like I get along with all my exes, and they're all cool, and we're all cool, and everything's good, and we just moved on, and she has this ability to set it and forget it and not dwell on this, that, or the other thing. Which I don't. I like every day I wake up, I'm like, oh, I can't believe in 2008 I said that. you know, it's fucked up, but I'm working on it. That's and that's, you know.
I'm laughing because I can relate, man. I'm laughing because I totally fucking understand that shit.
It's like I'll literally be sitting by myself and be like, I can't believe I said that in 2004, and I hope she's doing okay. And when I DM'd her 3 years ago, and we had that conversation, and she said she cried. I hope she's doing well. You know, I hope I didn't scar her. I was really fucked up at the time. You know, and this is literally a relationship that ended in 2004. You know,
this has nothing to do with right now.
Yeah, but that's my brain, and so my girlfriend will be like, "What are you thinking about?" And I'll just be like, "A lot." And she'd be like what? I'm just like, I'm not gonna even go there. Like what you're saying. Like what you're saying. Like 16 different things happening at once. Spanning decades.
That's right, spanning decades. And if you keep talking, it's only gonna trigger other stuff.
Sorry. She gave me this. Go ahead. What were you saying? Sorry.
I was like, if you keep talking, it's only gonna trigger other stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll be 16 and 18 and 20, and it's gonna multiply. That's all that's gonna happen.
But in conclusion, we're having dinner yesterday, and she says, I'm glad you're talking to your therapist again because you need it. And instead of me getting defensive and being like, I'm just like, you're right.
You're right.
I fucking need it.
Yeah.
I think this has run out of batteries. I don't know.
The fart sound. I could hear the fart.
I'm sweaty.
That's cool. Me too. What's up?
I'm sweating.
Why not? I don't have sleep on.
But
I can't feel my air conditioning anymore. I had to turn it down so it wouldn't be extra loud, you know? Like, so it's a low hum, right? Instead of like a
yeah. You know, some people who watch my stream have said, well, why don't you get a fan? You're always talking about how you're sweating. It's like, oh, because this microphone, it picks up everything. Like when the cat walks by and goes, that there's no cat. but there's no cat here. I'm not. That's a secret.
Oh yeah, no, there's no. There. I know what you mean.
Shh.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you are putting down.
But hey, we've been going for we've been going for 2 hours. Let us talk about your music and what you do, and plug some of the things. There in the YouTube video, there's links, but
right on. Well, I am a singer-songwriter, and I lead a band called Roxalidian. There's music that people can find on my website, Deekah.com, or Deekah.bandcamp.com.
It's I put all the links in the YouTube description.
So if you like a little bit of soul and a little bit of hollering and some guitar and you know, shit from Detroit, chances are you're gonna like what you hear. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
Oh,
I like it. More coming too. I fucking do guitar lessons. I do beginner guitar lessons because I like to start people on their journey. You know what I'm saying? I like to help people bond with their instrument. I feel like I had a really, really great guitar teacher. And I can still call him and ask him stuff, you know. Well, I have two really great guitar teachers who I can both call and ask stuff right now, you know, and I've been taking lessons from both of them like 10 plus years. And I feel like, you know, it's important, especially when you're like getting started. So like I've really, really taken to like teaching teenagers and shit. That shit feels good because the excitement that you feel when you first start playing too, you know. And I do Zoom lessons. So all that info, you can get all that info on my website, or if you contact me on my social media, stuff is in there, Deekah Rox, on Twitter and Instagram at Deekah Rox.
It's all there in the description. So
it's all there.
Yeah, I remember when I was taking guitar lessons when I was a little guy. Because my mom was cool. My mom always, I wasn't into sports when I was young. I remember when I played soccer when I was in elementary school. I used to hide under the blanket on the sideline so I didn't have to play. And it was funny, this kid, Brett, I went to high school with, he's like, you used to hide under the blanket. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Brett.
So I drew pictures. I read comic books. I played guitar. And, yeah, so my mom was paying for these guitar lessons, which is really sweet because it's something I didn't realize. That shit's fucking expensive, you know? And,
yeah, yeah.
My mom's the best. Thanks, Mom.
Way to go, Neil's mom. Hey, thanks, Dad, by the way.
Thanks, Dad.
The one who paid for mine, you know?
Yeah.
My dad is a very dadly dad. Can I tell a dad joke?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay.
Come with it. Tell me the dad joke.
I'm gonna have to introduce you to my dad one day.
I would love to.
Everybody who meets my dad, love my dad. Shout out to Doug Reynolds. I fucking love you, Dad. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. One day I'm gonna fund the baddest man cave for my dad with walls lined in rich mahogany and leather-bound leather chairs with the big arms and like a humidor. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, my dad is the best. He's very dadly. My dad is he comes from a line of stand-up dudes, you know, like I'm like what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm me with everybody, you know, like I don't code switch. This is me. This is how I fucking sound. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't put on airs. I'm not funny acting. The Deekah you see is the Deekah you get. I get that from the badass motherfuckers who I come from, you know. Like my dad is fucking ridiculous. He likes golf and NASCAR. My my stepmom loves my dad so much that when I was in high school, she got him a weekend at Martinsville Speedway. Like they have a racing academy. It's like a weekend from like Friday to Sunday academy. Okay. Like we had to go and spend a weekend in Martinsville, Virginia. And now my dad, every time someone even mentions like being a good driver, my dad chimes in and he's like, hey, you know, my instructor told me I could be a pretty good race car driver. And like, we never live it down. This is 25 years later, damn near. Like, he won't stop talking about it. Anyway, my dad's got tons of dad jokes, okay? He gives everybody nicknames. My best friend, Kevin, who is now in high school, like, he had like the undercut, you know, it was a bunch of different colors at one point. He had like some spikes, you know. My dad called him Crankshaft.
Nice.
Kevin is now a real estate agent in DC. He doesn't look like his name is Crankshaft.
He's not Crankshaft anymore.
No, but my dad still calls him Crankshaft. Like, so once you get a nickname, it sticks. Everybody gets a nickname. Everybody gets a nickname. My partner's name is Q. He's a process server. My dad calls him Quincy, like the medical examiner. And I'm like, Dad, he's so tickled. He's so tickled. And then like he tells us that's what makes it dadly. It's got to be a cheesy joke. And then you got to be so entertained by it. You got to be, just him has to be, he's the only one that's got to find joy in the joke. Okay. So this one here. So that's the setup. Okay. So that's my dad. That's Doug. I love him. He can also fucking cook his ass off. My dad, my God. Oh boy. Anyway, so my dad's watching this, it was like a minor league baseball game, right? He's also part of the reason like I have to wear earplugs like at shows. Like I was already wearing earplugs at shows because my dad.
That's smart.
The sound system in my dad's living room.
Oh wow.
Is stupid. Like he's always been that guy. Like he's always, but I don't mean like huge. I don't mean that. Like I mean like small and powerful. You know what I'm saying? He'll have like these little tiny Bose speakers.
But it's loud.
And then it'll be like, blah, 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 blah. Like it'll be like your fucking face is shaking off, you know. Anyway, so like he's sitting there watching this minor league baseball game, and it's somewhere in Florida, and they've got like a tank full of like baby stingrays, right? These little stingrays, and you can like pet these stingrays, right, while you're waiting in line or whatever it is, you know, like how at Tiger Stadium they've got like the fucking Ferris wheel and shit for the kids. This is supposed to be one of those little like kitty little things that you can do other than like watch this minor league baseball game. Okay, so my stepmom is like, oh wow, are those stingrays? Like I thought like sting is in the name. Like aren't they dangerous? I didn't know to do that. And my dad chimes in and he goes, well, maybe they're sweet baby rays. Like, and he holds it, you know, he's real like you know, amused with himself.
I like that.
So that's my life. Like that's you know, I can expect one of those. I can expect every time I talk to my dad, either he's given someone a nickname, you know, or he's like, we also talk about like the worst cars to drive behind on the road, you know, because he does a lot of driving. So we're either talking about horrible drivers, you know, in their cars, or like he's given somebody a nickname, man, or telling a cheesy joke. That's my dad.
So someone said that he could be a race car driver at one point?
Yeah, he freaking took, like he took this class, you know, this weekend training course. And at the end of the training course, the instructor told him, like, you're pretty good, Doug. You could be a pretty good race car driver. He took that and like ran with it. Like we've never heard the end of it. And it might have been me or one of my sisters who brought it up maybe about a year or so ago. And he was like, "Oh, I almost forgot." And we were like,
"Oh, you brought it up again. You reignited it." Did you ever
said something?
Did you ever see Napoleon Dynamite with Uncle Rico was talking about, "Man, I wish I was back in '85." He's like, "Do you think I could throw this football over that mountain over there?" Like that kind of mentality. Like that's just what it kind of reminds me of. It's like I could have been all state. I could have been a race car driver. Like
Uncle Rico threw that damn steak and hit him in the head.
Yeah.
That's still like, that tears me down every time.
That's a great movie.
Man,
That's a great movie. Well, hey, I'm gonna stand up and stretch.
Do it, man. Whatever.
But I appreciate you doing this, and I want to get back to sweating on people. Not just like going to a concert and standing there. Like I want to get sweat on. I want to sweat on somebody, and because I remember when you're up on stage and you're in the moment, you're really fucking giving it, and you, like vocally, there are gobs of spit on people standing literally a foot away from you. Like that's what I want to return. And so I'm hoping, I'm praying.
Me too, man.
I'm praying to something.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm just praying to the air, to the universe, to Bigfoot, that we can rock. Cause like think about it. In December we did that show, and you played the whole show with us, and then and then like what? 2.5 months later, it was like bye concerts. Like in that moment, I'm just like, all right, well, I'm gonna go back to California, and then I got these gigs, and then I got these gigs in June with Reagan Youth, and I got these gigs in July with HR, and then it's just like bye. But you know what? I think if underneath all of what's happening right now and the change that's occurring was this COVID thing, and if all this needed to happen, then it's a small price to pay for society to evolve under these circumstances. And I think as much bad shit as there is, I think there's a lot of people thinking about themselves, looking inside. I mean, that's what my therapist said yesterday. This is a time for people to grow and change because of what's going on. And I'm hoping that that's what this is, and that we can come out of this better people and a better society, and then start spitting on each other again.
Yes. No, right? Man.
We'll see.
I hope so.
So.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'll just be, that'll be more grandma tales for me to tell from my rocking chair on the porch,
Yeah.
Back in the day, there used to be rooms full of thousands of people.
Sweating and spitting.
Sweating and spitting and dancing around.
Yeah. I hope we can get there. I really do. Cause I want to go home. I live here. My name's on a lease and shit.
Yeah.
But I want to get in a plane. I want to get in a germ tube, and I want to breathe other people's air and not be scared. I want to hug my mom and not worry about like making her sick. I want to. Yeah, man. And I want to live in a world where fucking police aren't murdering people in the streets too. Like
I'm telling you.
So that being said, we said a lot.
We did, man.
I think this is good. I feel good.
I feel good too. I'm glad I got to chat with my homie for a couple of hours. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah, it's crazy too how much, because this is the thing, is when I started doing this podcast, I realized is when you have a conversation with someone, at least me, I rarely have a conversation with someone over an hour tops. Even if it's like a good friend and we're catching up, it's like if it's an hour, it's like, all right, I gotta go. But with this podcast thing, especially lately with the Zoom shit, I've been doing 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and it's like, I don't even fucking talk to my mother this long, which kind of but maybe I should have her on the podcast.
Oh, I would watch that.
You know, there's some podcast hosts do that. That would be crazy. I might do that.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'd be down.
I would watch that.
We might argue though. She might be like, "Oh, Joe Biden, I'm gonna vote for him." What? You want Trump? And then we're gonna get in a big argument, and then I'm gonna be like, "Mom, I gotta fucking end this podcast." Or, no, that probably won't happen. She's a big Biden head though. I'm like, "Mom, don't you think Biden's creepy?" And she's like, "Why? He's a nice man." I'm like,
He's creepy.
I'm like, you didn't see all the videos of him sniffing all those children? Like, come on, dude.
He is so creepy, man. Oh, shit.
But yeah, that being said, sniffing children. Oh, jeez. Should we call it, Deekah? My brain's like melted.
Yeah, I need to get some water, man.
Yeah, it smells like mildew in here. I gotta have another glass of tea, and I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I should feed my child something.
Yeah, feed your child. But hey, this was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. Like seriously, anytime, because I'm usually doing exactly what you see here.
Yeah. Well, same here. I might have to just roll the dice and fucking get a job and just maybe get sick and just because this I'm just barely making this work, but yeah, and that's the other thing too is I filed for unemployment, but I didn't get laid off of my job because of COVID. I got laid off of my job like right before COVID. They're like they laid me off right on New Year's. And
oh, that's right.
Yeah, and
that's right.
And it was funny because I remember when that happened. I remember I was all, "Woe is me! I got laid off," and then fucking millions of people got laid off, and I was like, "Oh, so I'm just like." But the problem is I was a 1099 employee, independent contractor. I need to get on the phone. It's out here in California. It's really hard to get unemployment. There's a lot of people that have been waiting for months and it hasn't come. So, but back to what I was saying before, we're gonna get through this.
Yeah, man.
I'm just gonna be my girlfriend's pool boy, and she can be my sugar mama. Because she got unemployment. What's crazy is they're giving her normal salary, but then they're giving her like an extra $600 a week on top of it.
Holy shit!
I don't know what the loophole is, or what if it's a California thing.
That's the extra $600 is the pandemic insurance. That's the pandemic unemployment insurance.
She's
I'm a 1099, and last year I was 100% 1099. It was the first year that all my income was 1099. It was from straight up from everything. Like all my declarable income was gigs. And that shit felt really good. So it like sidebar, that shit felt really good. But like, looking at like when I like, entered in all my shit or whatever, and it was like the minimum that they gave me,
Yeah.
Plus, but then on top of that, like I was ready to work with the minimum. And then they were like, "Oh, well, it's the pandemic insurance too, so you're gonna get this." And I was like, "Oh." So they give you your minimum plus, or they give you a certain amount plus the 600. So if she got her salary plus the 600, that 600 is the pandemic insurance.
It's gonna end in the next couple months, I think. But this is the thing is right now she's just saving it, and she bought herself a couple little toys here and there, but like
yeah.
But it's funny because she's not even working. She's making more money doing nothing than she was when she was fucking working 5-6 days a week. It's crazy,
dude. I feel like a part of me feels like I just feel, there's that conspiracy theorist in me. Like I feel like this shit is happening. Like it's not a mistake. Like I get it. Like I feel like, folks are trying to buy their way back into the offices they're already holding. You know what I'm saying? That's how.
Yeah. I mean, I got that Trump check. His name was on that shit.
It was. I said, "Motherfucker, don't send me no more mail." Like I was like, "Don't send me no more mail with this man's name on it, please."
But I don't know what to say. That's a whole nother bag of worms or whatever the fucking phrase is.
Dude, fucking read Octavia Butler. Like there's a book called Parable of the Sower. And it's like there's a girl who's an empath, and like the world falls down around her. Like and she like the girl's got a boogie bag buried in the back. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's insane. Like it's but there's literally a character who is the president, and he's running on a re-election campaign and talking about it's not Make America Great Again. He says it's like restoring American greatness, or it's almost like it's so close to being Make America Great Again, it's scary.
It's like eerily close. Yeah.
It is.
So what's the book called? Octavia Butler?
Octavia Butler is the writer.
Yes.
And it's so she's a sci-fi writer. She's got a whole series, but this book is called Parable of the Sower. And then there's Parable of the Talents that comes after that, and then there's one that comes after that as well.
Okay.
Parable of the Sower is so good, man. I couldn't put it down. Like I waited to read it because I think it's so good that I started reading it when he got elected, and I had to put it down because it was like too fucking real. I was like, you know what? I can't right now. I gotta like, you know what I mean? Like, put this down. I'll come back to it. You know?
Yeah. It's like I remember when the movie Idiocracy was a funny comedy in 2005, and then it's like, oy vey. I mean, because it was true even back then when it came out, 2005, 2006, 2007, I forget what year it was. But now, I mean, although I would vote for Camacho over Trump any day.
Yeah, I would too. Not trying to be funny.
Camacho's cool. All right, I gotta go.
Okay, yes. Stretch.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you too, man. I'll see you soon.
And Sweaty Pits.
Fucking no sleeves, man. Look at that.
Sleeveless shirts for life. It's a heat thing. It's not
That's
a
right.
vanity
It's a
thing. It's a heat
That's right.
thing.
We're just hot.
Yeah, I'm just fucking overheating here. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go. I have to urinate and
do it, man. Go piss. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Thank you again. Do you want to hit the button?
You hit the button.
What? Okay, where's the button?
I don't know. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Thank you, Deekah. Where's the
Love
fucking?
you, man.
Where's the fucking button? I gotta exit full screen. All right, I'm gonna hit the button.
Okay.
All right, love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm hitting the button now. Ooh. So there you go. Oh, that was fun. I miss her. And I am having a good time. I really got to pee, but I kind of want to jam a little bit. I don't know. What should I do? I'm just going to do this thing one more time. This is my new jam that I made up a couple days ago when high on weed. I'm like,
Coming in through and coming again, coming in through and coming again, coming in through and coming again, coming in through and coming again.
someone told me I gotta get my shit together. Somebody told me it's gonna be stormy weather. Somebody told me I gotta take a time out for myself. I gotta get control of myself and think about the things that are good for my health and the things that are good in my life. That's what I'm gonna try to hold on to. That's what I'm gonna try to love and live and laugh like Karen. Karen. No offense to anybody actually named Karen. Yeah.
Coming through and coming again. Coming through and coming again. Coming through and coming again. Coming through and coming again.
Silly, I get stupid, I get dumb. I'm a fucking idiot, I'm just a dude and I don't know shit about shit, so don't listen to a word that I gotta say because I'm just a fucking idiot. But it's cool, it's chill, we're hanging with our friends and we're having a good time. We're trying to get through this life every single day. We're just trying to be decent human beings. Can we do it? Is it possible? Can we make it happen for our children? Can we make it happen for our cats? Can we give our cats a better life?
In 2020, can we vote and think about our cat?
Coming in through and coming again. I'm coming in through and coming again. I'm coming in through and coming again. I'm coming in through and coming again. Coming in through, I'm coming again. Coming in through, I'm coming again. Coming in your motherfucking face, man. Coming again.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Fight for what you believe in. And I will support you and love you. As long as you're not a piece of shit. But that's all relative. I have some relatives that may be pieces of shit. Think about it. Smoke about it. Love about it. My urine is clear, yeah.